Okay, so we're going to take the Photoshop file that we created, that we designed our website look, and we're going to chop up some of the images and put them in one of Adobe Dreamweaver's CSS layouts. Okay, so we're going to have two background images per se. One's going to be a sliver of a gradient, and the other is going to be that camera and part of that orb tail that are going to go in the body. So we're going to have to add another div box in between the body and the container. And then I'm going to have an image for the top part, which is the header, and then an image for the middle content piece. So I'll have 4 images total. So let me go ahead and grab those images real quick. And the first one I'm going to grab is going to be the gradient piece. So I'm going to grab a little sliver of a piece. Doesn't matter whether it's, you know, a few pixels wide, 2 pixels wide. I'm going to do an edit, copy merged, file new, click OK, paste, and save this one for the web. File, save for web. It's going to be a JPEG. This is going to go on the desktop, Photoshop Web Design, and let's create a folder called Images here. Keep them separate from the other images. And let's call this gradient. Okay, so we got the gradient piece, and let's go and grab the next piece, which is going to be, let's grab the header piece. Alright, so I'm going to grab this piece right there. Oops, actually I want that entire piece right there. That's going to be in the header section. Edit, copy merged, file new. Copy merged copies all of the layers that you see visible. You don't. Yeah, because if you just do edit copy, it'll only copy the layer that you're on. So let's save that header part. Save for the web. Save, and let's call this the header. Header, banner, whatever. Whoops. Let's get rid of that. Whoops. Nope. Gotta close some of these other images here. Okay, and let's save this piece, and we'll just save this as one. Later on, we'd go chop that up and create. Actually, we wouldn't chop it up. We just create CSS for it. And then we place our images via HTML. But I'll just place that as a background image right now. Yeah, just just for looks.
All of that is saved in JPEG. Why don't you save it in
File, save for web, and save. You wouldn't save that as a Photoshop file because we need it as JPEG for the web. Yeah, yeah. JPG. Yeah, but but we don't have that situation really here where we need to go PNG. Let's see. Let's call this content. Yeah, JPEG is going to give you your best file size for photographic images. And you don't have to worry about anti-aliasing in any of these things. Alright, and then I'm going to take, and what I like to do here, here's a little trick I do to reduce file size, is I'm going to create a new layer here at the top of the layer stack, right? And in that new layer, I'm going to select all of that middle section, right? And I'm just going to paint over it with white. This will actually create a smaller file size because the smaller you have, or I mean the least amount of pixels that you have in one of your files, the smaller it'll be. So with all white, we're not going to have really any pixel information. It's a solid color. So this is going to be a smaller file size than this. All right. When I say this, I mean all of the canvas. So I'm going to select the whole canvas just down to the edge of where that orb image tail is, right down here, because that's all I need for the background of that. The rest of it will blend in with the other gradient. You're going to see this later. So that image in the marquee area is going to be a smaller file size than that image in the marquee area. All right. So let's do edit, copy merged, file new, click OK, paste this, file, save for web, and let's call this one, and I can show you the save for web stuff later when you do a 2-up and a 4-up, see the difference between PNG 24 and JPEG and such, and get all your different choices. Alright, so let's just do this one as, let's call this one wrapper. Okay, and you'll see why later. Alright, so now we have all our images. Now let's go to Dreamweaver and start a new site. I'm going to do File, New. This is going to be a 1-column. I'm going to use this layout that they give us. 1-column, fixed, centered, header, footer. Create a separate style sheet. Create new file. Right? So I'm going to hit Create on this. This is the layout I'm going to choose. Alright, and first I need to save my style sheet. I don't want to call it 1-col fixed center header. That's just way too complicated. I'm going to go with something more simple like styles. Alright, and save. Now I'm going to save this HTML file. Save as. And I can call it portfolio, or if it's the home page, I'm going to call it index. This is the portfolio page, I'm going to call it portfolio. Save. Alright, now I'm going to start applying my images as backgrounds of the boxed elements, and you'll see this start to come to life. So the first one I'm going to apply is on the body tag. So I'm going to just jump right over here to I'm going to do it through Dreamweaver's interface. I'm going to grab the body tag in the CSS Styles panel, double click it, and go to the background category, and I'm going to add that image as the background image. Alright, that gradient piece. So that gradient piece I'm going to add right there, and I'm going to say I want that to repeat across the x-axis. Alright, and I want a background color. I have to go back to where that gradient is, and oops, I kind of performance lag there. It'll lock me up. Come on. Probably because we're recording here. I want to get the bottom of that gradient as a color in here. Just a second. It's okay, so we need to find the gradient color. So let's zoom into the end of this image right here. Hit the eyedropper tool, click inside there, and we can see what that background color is. If you really wanted to get close to make sure that you're being specific, you can get down to the very last pixel of that thing. Right now it's 3200%, so I know that that's it's 3 pixels wide. You can't see the little lines there. If I hit my eyedropper tool and click inside there, I know I've hit the very last pixel there, and it's EV, EV, EV. So I'm going to copy that information, go over to Dreamweaver, and put that in as my background color. Because that way, when the gradient runs out vertically, it will populate the background color to match the edge of that image and float its way down, so it'll be seamless. Okay? So let's click OK on that. And now if I want to preview that in Firefox, save my changes, and jump out to what that looks like, and there we go. Now I have that gradient image, and you can see I can scroll out and it seamlessly goes down because that image stops right about here, and that actually will go as far as I go. So now I've got the whole look. So now what I need to do, and this is the box model, so this is showing us the 960 grid in the middle, but I need that camera piece out here. Right now I've got the gradient inside that body tag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another div box, give it a class name called wrapper, and wrap it around this 960 grid, which is called container. So let's go over here, and here's the div box called container, and there's all the code inside that box. So I'm going to wrap a div box around this container box. So right there. So I'm going to highlight all that piece here, and I'm going to just do insert layout objects div tag, And let's give it a name of wrapper, like we said. And I'm going to jump right to adding a rule to that wrapper. And let's click OK. Let's go to the background category, choose a background image. And this one's going to be tricky. Check this out. There's the wrapper. Alright. Click OK. Now what we do on this one is we don't repeat it. Alright. And then on its x-axis we say position it in the center. Alright. And we position the y-axis along the top. So now when I click OK and click OK, it's created that wrapper. Now if I go to preview that in Firefox, prompts me to save, jump back out, and now I've got the camera and the orb piece. So now I have 2 more images left and I'm completed. So I'm going to add the top header image as a CSS style background and this piece right here. Now the footer I'll leave. I can just ditch the color if it wanted to blend in with the rest of the website. So let's jump on over to Dreamweaver. I can go into split view, design view, it doesn't matter. Get rid of the color in the footer. I can just go right over here. I'll just comment it out for now. There's the color in the CSS styles panel. And now the new class, there's the one for wrapper that I added. I need the one for header, which is right here. I'm going to double click header, go to background, get rid of the color, don't need the color, go to background image, because the header is going to fill up the box. Now when you use images as a CSS background, okay, and there's no content in that box, you have to force the height. So it says 210 pixels right here is going to be the height of this image. So I'm going to click this as OK. Bless you. Then go to the box category and put in 210. It said 210, right? And then click OK. And there we go. So now that's filled in there. This is an image that Dreamweaver gives us. I'm going to delete that. Alright, now I'm going to add an image in the background of the content box, and we'll be done. Let's double click the content class. By the way, I know the names of all these boxes, so once you start using Dreamweaver's layouts, you can see here's the box that we just assigned the image to with the class name header. That's how we know to go over to the styles panel and double click .header. And then double click .content, because that's the next box. And go to the background category, choose that image, which is this one right here. I'm going to add some height because I don't have anything that's pushing this right now. Actually, there's some text, but so I could decide later. Okay, and no repeat on that. And background position Y along the top. Alright, click OK. Preview it in Firefox, save my changes. And there we go. Of course, I'd have to ditch all this text. If I don't have all that text, it will not stretch itself in height. So if I wanted to see, okay, well, let's get rid of all that text inside the content. That's all the text, right, which was right in there, but I need to specify the height for that. So I may have to go back to content for the background image and say, oh, make sure that is going to be tall enough. So maybe I type it as 650 as a height for that box. That way when I preview it, okay, there you go. So that's a quick way to go ahead and create your website now. Of course, the footer has its own background color, which we can ditch from later on. And that's your completed website from a Photoshop design. Really quick. Thanks for watching.